So far on this journey, we have been following a face, a strange green man who keeps appearing in books connected to exiles, reformers, physicians, translators, people working on the borders of accepted thought. In video 1, we followed Adam Hasselmeyer and the first shockwave of the Fama Fraternitatis. In video 2, we began tracking the Green Man himself, a tiny ornamental face that seemed to travel across the same networks used by the Huguenot printers of Geneva and the early thinkers who shaped Rosicrucian ideas. Today, in video 3, something unusual happens. The Green Man appears again, but this time he's different. Veiled, buried, almost lost. And the place where this happens? In Daniel Mögling's Pandora Sextae Aetatis, tells a story all of its own. Here are 4 impressions of the Green Man, all from books connected to Daniel Mögling. Thesis de Sanguinis Sputo, 1593. Anatomicarum Disputationum, 1594. Disputatio de Dysenteria, 1597. And finally, Pandora Sextae Aetatis, 1617. At first, they look like ordinary ornaments, but when we examine them closely, really closely, something remarkable becomes clear. All 4 impressions were printed from the same physical wood block. We can see it in the carved lines, the same crown, the same curling scrolls, the same moustache and beard, and the same loops at the bottom. But even more convincing are the missed ink marks. Tiny gaps where the block always fails to pick up ink. They appear in the same places across different books years apart. Missed ink is unique. It cannot be replicated by chance. It is the fingerprint of the block. And this fingerprint repeats in 1594 in both books from 1597 and many years later inside Pandora. The design itself has a clear heritage. It is a copy of a Huguenot emblem used earlier by the Geneva printers Crispin and Vignon, printers known for carrying ideas and manuscripts across borders when such things were dangerous. So the design has a Huguenot pedigree, but the block we're looking at here, the physical piece of wood, simply appears in use in Tübingen at this time. We cannot say yet where it was carved, only that it was used in these Mögling related books. In those early works, the block behaves exactly as we'd expect. Worn but clear, consistent, recognisable. The missed ink fingerprints match, the details remain intact. And then we reach Pandora, where the block suddenly speaks a very different language. In the first 3 books, 1593, 1594 and 1597, the blocks age normally, worn, a little heavier, slight dogging in places, a natural progression. But the Pandora impression, Pandora breaks the pattern completely. Here the scrolls swell into dark masses, the beard and moustache merge into one blot, fine detail disappears under a blanket of ink. The face becomes a shadow. This isn't block wear. Block wear doesn't jump from slightly clogged to obliterated. And above all, we have two different copies of Pandora. Both show the exact same drowned, ink-clogged state. Accidents don't repeat perfectly. This was deliberate, and we find nothing like this state in any other examples. Not before, not after, and not in any city or shop. The block wasn't damaged. The impression was made to look this way. Which leaves a heavy intentional question hanging in the air. Why? Well, the answer is waiting directly across the page. Opposite the veiled green man sits a copper plate, a stump with an axe beside it, a sea of opinions, another of errors, the stump labelled ignorantia, or ignorance. Above it, shining down, a beacon of light. Below it the words, tandem levat, help at last. Help that arrives only after a long search. And beneath in Latin, the wisdom of God is hidden and cannot be seen with outward eyes. The copper plates in Pandora are not ordinary illustrations. They are exceptionally crafted, crisp, elegant, deeply engraved, some of the finest copper work associated with Mögling. Their technical quality is unmistakable, which is why their placement matters so much. A printer capable of producing copper plates of this calibre would never carelessly place them beside an accidental, sloppy, low-quality woodcut impression, not in a book of this ambition, not in a work presenting itself as a mirror of grace, not in a text that communicates through crafted symbols. The contrast is far too extreme. On one page, precision, mastery, deliberate symbolism. On the opposite page, a green man drowned in ink, the poorest impression in its entire lineage. No printer would do this by mistake. No author would accept it casually. The contrast is staged, intentional, part of the message. This copper plate isn't a simple illustration. It's an instruction, a moment of recognition. It says, ignorance blinds, surface appearances deceive, opinions and errors surround us. True understanding comes only when the inward eye is opened. And the green man beside it, that Huguenot pattern emblem used here in Tübingen, has suddenly been printed in the most obscured state we've ever seen. He mirrors the stump labelled ignorantia. He mirrors the darkness before the beacon light. He mirrors the cry, help at last, the moment where one finally recognises what has been hidden. This is not accidental. The green man is performing the allegory, a symbol acting out a message. Hidden truth sits in front of us. Most never see it. The title page of Pandora gives a pseudonym, Theophilus Schweighardt, and the date, 1617, but it does not give a place or a printer. This silence was intentional. Rosicrucian related books often omitted printers to avoid trouble. So how do we understand where Pandora was produced? Here, the ornament inside, the green man becomes our strongest clue. The exact same block appears in the named Tübingen books of 1594 and 1597. And while ornaments could sometimes travel between shops and blocks were occasionally shared, as our wider research shows, all the evidence in this case points towards the same region, the same workshop, culture, and very likely the same city. The typography, the paper, the layout, the ornament stock, and the green man's earlier appearance all align most naturally with the Tübingen printing environment of the 1590s. Pandora may not name its printer, but everything surrounding the book, the style, the materials, the reuse of this block, strongly suggests that it emerged from the same printscape and very likely the same locality as Mögling's earlier works. And in this printing, wherever exactly it occurred, the block is intentionally veiled. Printer and author working together, leaving a sign. In the Fama Fraternitatis, the Brotherhood say their books are already printed, already scattered through Europe, forming a hidden catalogue, visible only to those who have eyes to see. We cannot claim the Green Man was their official sign. No text confirms that. But when we place all these facts together, a Huguenot design with a history of crossing borders, used by authors working in liminal, dangerous, intellectual spaces, printed clearly in early Tübingen books, suddenly obscured, deliberately, in Pandora, positioned beside a beacon of light, a stump of ignorance, and a plea of help at last. It becomes easy to imagine how certain readers might have understood this moment. Not as a code, not as a declaration, but as a quiet signal. You've found one of the books. You're inside the conversation. A symbol recognised only by those who already knew the face. In this part of the Green Man's trail, the ornament becomes more than decoration. Its damage becomes part of the message. Its ink, part of the mystery. Here in Pandora, the Green Man isn't simply printed, he is performed, veiled, hidden, and set beside an allegory that reveals why. The face that once travelled through Geneva and London now speaks quietly from Tübingen, reminding us that hidden things often sit in plain sight, but only some are prepared to see them. In the next video, we will follow him again, and the story becomes even stranger.